yeah. We Are Sirens, man. Loving this band. Yeah, so this here is going to be a bit of a special, I guess you could call it. I don't have Killa with me on this one, but you know, I wanted to share a little story of my own that if you guys are into traveling, if you've been anywhere outside of, let's say, North America, this story may interest you. If you like to travel, it may interest you. Oh, by the way, I'll leave a link in the description on that We Are Sirens band, and if I don't, it's probably I just forgot, so whatever. We'll look them up, wearesirens.com. Anyway, this goes back, I don't know, about a year ago. The wife and I took a trip to South America. We spent a couple weeks in Ecuador, or Quito, to be exact. And we were actually traveling to Galapagos Islands, was the biggest part of the trip, actually. And so in order to get to the Galapagos Islands, you have to enter through Quito. And that's where you set up and hook up with your travel company or whatever, right? So we spent a couple days there, you know, enjoyed the sights, met some pretty cool people. You know, and you know, for us, we're not like those all-inclusive type of people, you know, where you go to a hotel or a resort and it's, you know, all in, you just pay one charge. We kind of like, you know, living like the locals do in a sense. So we stayed in a place called Casa Aliso, actually it's called. Little tiny little hostel place with, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different rooms. And on our second day there, we decided, you know what, let's make our way into the old town of Quito. I don't know, some of you may or may not know what I'm talking about, but there's 2 different sections. There's the newer, updated version of Quito, and then there's the older. God, some of the buildings in there were, you know, 100-some years old. So, you know, we start making our way from the hotel this one day. We're just walking on our own. We didn't bother taking cabs or anything. We just wanted to do it like the locals kind of thing, right? Jumped on a bus, made our way across town, and ran to into a park where they were doing, this guy was doing a skit, and there was a little market off to the one side where we were at there. And we were, I don't know, 50, 60 people standing around this guy. I'll see if I can find the clip. Maybe I'll put it in here, but if not, I'm just being lazy. Of this guy, he was doing a skit. I don't know, we don't even know what he was talking about. It was, you know, everything was in Spanish, so we were just kind of like standing there, you know, oh, this looks cool, and everybody's laughing and, you know, having a good time. And all of a sudden I pull out my video camera. Now for this trip I had prepared myself with a GoPro camera, which is a small one. Everybody knows what GoPro is. And I bought another one called a Canon XF100, and this thing, it was, I think at the time I paid $3,500. It was basically literally a broadcast camera. So I pull this thing out, and I shit you not, probably 15 or 20 people that were standing around me turn around and look at me, and they're like, what the hell? Look at this fucking expensive piece of equipment this guy's got. Like most people down there, you know, it's a poor country. They don't have money. They don't, you know, everybody's day-to-day things are working. They you know, it's a different currency, of course, than here. I think it's pesos. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's pesos down in South America. And so I pull this camera out, and everybody turns around, and there's a couple people like giving me this weird stink. I'd call it the stink eye. It's like, first off, I'm white. I'm pretty much my wife and I are the only white people in this entire park. In fact, probably the entire city, actually, at that time of year. So, you know, we're starting to get this uneasy feeling. We're like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should probably get out of here. It looks like people are kind of eyeballing me. Maybe we're gonna get jumped and stabbed. I don't know. I just kind of was getting that feeling, right? And I didn't really want to share this story to break this all down. I didn't really want to share this story because if you are into travel, I didn't want to scare anybody away or, you know, have them not go to these areas because of maybe this story. But this is, you know, kind of my own fault. I definitely learned a lesson on this one. So anyway, we pack up our stuff and we take off and we start walking up the street, which is maybe a kilometer from where this park was. And we're walking down a small, you know, there's maybe enough room for 3 or 4 people side by side on this sidewalk. We're just walking along, minding our own business. All of a sudden, on my head and shoulder and arms, and the people that were walking beside me actually moved out of the way because they kind of seen it coming. And it was this green, slimy, liquidy, I don't even know what it was. It all I know is at the time it stunk to high hell, and we were both wife and I were really disgusted. So I'm wiping it kind of off my shirt and off my backpack and everything, and all of a sudden this old guy comes out of nowhere. He's standing in a little alley off to the right of me. Old guy comes up and he's like, "Banyo, banyo, banyo," which is washroom or bathroom, whatever. So he grabs my arm and starts pushing me towards this other alley that had a bathroom, and I could see that it was a bathroom. So I'm like, okay, this guy's, you know, helping us out. You know, thankfully, got somebody that's actually gives a crap here. I just got shit all over me, and at this point, we didn't know what it was until we got back to the hotel. Now the old man, he pushes me into the bathroom, and I asked the wife. I said, "Listen, I'm gonna go into this bathroom. I want you to stay out front and wait. And if you hear anything or anything, come get me or whatever, or scream or whatever." So I'm in the men's bathroom, and the old guy's in there with me, and all of a sudden this big, tall, 6'5", 6", he was a big guy, comes up behind me, and he's got a leather jacket, and I'm like, at first I didn't think anything of it. All I'm thinking is, I want to get this shit off of my body and wipe this crap off and get the hell out of here, right? So I'm, you know, washing up at the sink there, and the big tall guy's handed me some Kleenex, and he's like, here you go, here, you know, clean yourself off. Meanwhile, this old guy is grabbing at my backpack, and at this particular moment, I was thinking, you know, shit, you know, I got to get this backpack off. I'm cleaning up. So he helps me with the backpack and literally puts it down right beside me. So I'm thinking, okay, so far at this point, I'm thinking everything's okay. I go and I splash some water on my face, and literally pull my head back, look down, bag's gone. Big tall guy still standing behind me, bag's gone. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm screaming, stop thief, you know, and the wife's outside the bathroom. She's screaming and yelling. All of this happened in, I shit you not, literally less than a minute. From getting pushed into the bathroom to the bag getting taken. It was less than a minute. So I run outside the bathroom. There's a couple guys there, and they were actually pointing around the corner to the left, and I'm, you know, totally spinning around here, not being able to tell which way to go, whatever. I'm, you know, can't look at anybody. I'm just running out of the bathroom. So I bust to the left, and sure as shit, I seen my backpack go between 2 buses that were parked on the side of the road. And that's literally all I seen was my backpack go through. So I'm fucking running like you wouldn't believe. Thankfully, I wasn't wearing flip-flops. Now, there's tip number 1. If you're going to go into any kind of third world country-ish type thing, don't go in there with sandals or flip-flops or anything like that. Go in there with running shoes, right? So I bolt towards the middle of this bus, and I cut through, and there must have been 2 lanes of traffic on the other side of these buses. And I look to my left, and I see the guy, you know, he's not running, because for them, they don't want to create a big scene. They just want to get the bag and go. And so I cross 2 lanes of traffic, run down about another block, catch up to the guy, and all he does is nicely put it down on the ground. I literally two-handed shoved him and pushed him across 2 lanes of traffic. And at this point, I'm vibing. I'm shaking because, you know, this guy stole our shit, right? And I look behind me, grab the bag, look behind me, I see my wife. She's screaming and yelling coming down the street. It was just a total, absolute mess. And so at this point, we're freaked out. And we're, you know what, we're just going back to the hotel. We're unloading this stuff. So what I forgot to mention, too, is in this backpack, I had that camera, of course. That was about $3,500 for that one camera. I had the wife's camera, a Nikon D700 or some shit. I think we just bought it a few months before going, so that was another $1,500 plus there were some lenses plus my GoPro. Like literally everything we were using to film for this trip was in that backpack. So we get ourselves together and start walking ourselves back to the hotel, and literally at this point everybody's looking at us like we must have had this panic look on our face, or white guy panic in Browntown or something. I don't even know. Like it was, we were giving off some kind of vibe anyway, because everybody was staring at us, and not only staring at us, but they were also staring at our shoes and our pants and our jacket and my backpack and everything. And one thing I actually noticed while we were walking back to the hotel was everybody, even the locals there, would carry their backpack on the front of their body, not on the back. And of course, until afterwards, I thought, well, that makes sense because they've got their arms wrapped around their bag so nobody can gank their bag behind them, right? Or go through their bag. Because, I mean, there is some crafty pickpocketers down there, man. They are, top of the line guys down there, right? So anyway, we're making our way back. We get back to the hotel and, told the front desk lady there our story. And, she was sort of blown away the fact that we even got our bag back. I mean, apparently there's less than 1%, if that's even a percentage, get their stuff back, because this entire thing was an organized system that went on. There was, well, first of all, the guy that poured shit on us, and literally, if we found out later, that's what it was. It was like soupy, liquidy shit. And thankfully, we had all our shots before going down there because, he didn't want to catch anything. But turns out the guy that poured the shit was in on it. The old man that pushed us to the bathroom was in on it. There was actually a lady at the bathroom that knew what was going on. Didn't really care that the fact that my wife kind of came into the men's bathroom and then walked out. Nothing even happened there, right? The tall guy was in on it. And then the old man had handed it off to the other guy that I had actually pushed across the street. So there was, 4 or 5 people all wrapped up into this little scheme. So luckily, we got all our stuff back. Nothing went missing. Nobody got hurt. But, man, I still even thinking to this day, thinking back on it, why didn't I just drill that guy? Why didn't I turn him around and 5-finger death punch him? Well, luckily that didn't happen, because you don't want to be beating up the locals when you're going to, a third world country. You could end up in a serious amount of trouble. And thankfully nobody got hurt, and we, didn't get into too much trouble. So, I mean, to me, that was the lesson. The lesson being that, it's funny because we did see some other tourists as we were on our stay down there, and people are with their cameras, their regular cameras, and, small little, digital cameras, nothing fancy, right? I would recommend to anybody that is going to these places, unless you're with a good group of people, which, like I said at the beginning, we like to be on our own and do our own thing, be like the locals, right? Don't be whipping out any fancy camera equipment or anything of that nature. Keep your essentials right where you can see them at all times, right? Because I can tell you now, if I ever go into a situation like that again, that's exactly what it'll be. There will not be me pulling out any camera or doing anything. So, lesson learned. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that quick little story. I figured I'd throw it out. Seeing as we've reached 200 subs, I can't believe it. Started less than, 3-4 weeks ago with just over 20. So, you know what? We're doing it for you guys. You like what you hear? Leave a comment, a like, any of that stuff. And we'd greatly appreciate it. So, anyway, take it easy. We'll catch you on the next one. Have yourself a good day. Peace.